Hello, I am Annie. Hello, look at me. And this is a tutorial on how to make a color palette in Aseprite. And with this, we'll also be looking at how to make tile sets. So what you want to do first is you want to make 160 by 160 plus a 16 by 32. Actually, no, 32 by 16. Is it 32? It's 48 by 16. And you get those 3 squares. Okay, so with the 3 squares, you want to get rid of these first. I'll do that off camera. Okay, now we have gotten rid of the colours along the side, just here. And we only got black left, which is all we really need. Now what you want to do is you want to open this and go to the slider. Now let's bump that all the way up to red. The red one all the way up, because that's what we're going for first. Because these are the primary colours that we need, red, green and blue. Now we bump that down a bit and see what we get. As you can see, we're getting some lovely colours over here. We've got a nice purple. Now we've got gradient. What you want to do is you want to go grid setting 16 by 16, and then you only paint in the 1 square. So that will act as our red. Now if we take this over to green, perhaps make it a little paler, perhaps like so, and we've got a nice green. Next we want blue, so we bump all the blue up, take that down a bit, and we've got a nice blue. Now these are really nice colours, and what we can do with them is if we save them by pressing this button here, it goes here. And what we can do is we can save as default palette, and then go over here and load the default palette. To get your color swapper, you can press Alt, your color picker, you press Alt and click on the color you want. Unlike most software, it doesn't have a zoomed in bit, so you can't see exactly what you want, so you might have to zoom in really close to get pixel per pixel. Now over here, you want to do the same as the other one, but as 16 by 16. And the reason we did 160 by 160 is because now we have 100 different set tiles which we can use to paint. Now I found that most tiles I use, most tile sets I make require more than 100, but 100 is where we start. And 3 colours is where we start as well. Sometimes you can make games with just 3 colours. I've seen people do it before. It's quite difficult to do. I haven't tried it myself, but it is something I'm willing to try in the future, perhaps when I get enough experience. Right now though, we're going to try and possibly make some tile sets with just these 3 colours. Okay, now we got a green, a purple, and a blue. Now let's see, if we go gradient and just plaster that in there like so, we got some grass. And perhaps we can get, if we go brush, we can put some blue bits here, there, and everywhere. Perhaps purple too. Perhaps the purple could be like different mud splotches. It doesn't have to be that difficult. Sometimes I have seen people do this with their grass. Perhaps this would be how you'd like to do your grass. You want to go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2 again. And then really, all the difference is this. And that's really all it is. And you've got some nice grass there. Well, that's cool because we've only got 3 colours, and what we can do is we can take this and copy it and pop it somewhere else on a different grid. Really, we don't really need that everywhere, but it'd be good to have it in different kind of areas, you know? What we can do is we can grab this and move it over there, and then these ones on the bottom, just get rid of. Because really, we just need a blank, one with the grass in the lower, one with the grass in the upper, one in the middle, and again in the lower. We don't really need a second upper. Sometimes you can take one and just make it go the other way. Like that. So what next we want to do? We got some nice grass up there. What can we do next? If we get a brush and perhaps go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then draw down there, and then go gradient, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and draw down that, gradient again, perhaps just rub this out at the top. What we can do is we can get the gradient tool and pop that there, like a path. And then we can get the brush. What we can do is we can make it look like bricks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make them look like bricks. And with this, we get like a little brick path, which is really cool because I love brick paths. And all really we needed to do was make the starting pattern. And we got the little path going. Now what we can do is we can just finish up the path going up. Control C, take it up, and boom, you got the little brick path. Now what we can do with this brick is we can use it to make walls, or we can use it to make houses. We don't need, just doesn't need to be a path. It doesn't need to be a path. It can be something else. It can be whatever you want it to be. And if you want, perhaps you can have some details on the grass that's next to it. And just, oh, didn't want to do that. Perhaps we can get some details in the grass next to it. Control C, Control V. And just pop it. Like that. Like so. And we've got some nice grass there. Now, the thing about putting grass there is you'd have to make multiple more, else it would look too natural. It would look too out. It wouldn't look natural. That was the wrong word. It wouldn't look natural. It would look like everything's just planted like that deliberately. So if you're doing this, you'd have to do it 3 or 4 times in different places. Some without grass, some with grass, some with half grass, some with no grass. I've already said that. And where you go with this is, say you want to add details into the bricks, because at the moment all we've got is basic grass and bricks, and that's not all that good. So what we can do is we go layer and add a new layer, and as you see down here we have 2 things. If we turn this off, the layer below is gone. Turn it on, the layer's back. What we can do is we can use layer 2 and turn the opacity down a bit. I normally go 120 because that's normally what I like. And then what I like to do is I like to get a nice light grey. The reason I go for a light grey is because if I paint on top, it looks like it's adding detail to the brick. And I do this because it allows me to get different details on my bricks, etc. And also, it just adds a bit more character to the game. I don't do it as much for the grass, because really the grass is just these pieces here. But for bricks, they're kind of needed to look better. Now you want to be careful when you're doing bricks, because sometimes there's some cut off and you might just do that. But that's not really how it's supposed to look, because there's actually, if you go on the other side of the wall, there'd be more bricks on that side. But this is a 2D game, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's how you make some bricks, perhaps for a path or this and that. What we're going to do is we're just going to grab them and we're going to take them up here, put them in line with this. Oh, no. We want to merge the layer down so it becomes one layer all together. And with tile sets, it doesn't matter if they're not next to each other, because when you go into Unity, you can change that. So just make sure it's all tidy. Sometimes it may look like it's all a mess, but just make sure it looks tidy. And also you can see that when you put it on top, this line should be in line with this line, which it is, which is good, which means it's got symmetry, which are normally what bricks have. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add that to the color palette. No, not that one actually. We want to Alt and grab this one and add that one to the color palette, because that's what we used to darken the corner of this blue. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to make a small brick wall. Now the reason we're going to make a small brick wall is because it's quite simply probably one of the best walls, probably one of the best things you can do for sprites, because you can just have it surrounding a house you've built. There's all manner of different things you can do with it. Now what you want to start off to do is you want to start painting half a square. The reason you do half a square is quite simply, and I'll show you after I've drawn the half square. Okay, so I have drawn a whole brick because I'm a bit of a numpty, but that's easily fixed. Now, to get what you want to do is you want to take from here and just delete all that. Now, the reason you do that is because quite simply, we're going to take this blue one we use for the bricks and gradient these ones, and then just paint these ones in. Now from here, what you want to do is you want to make a new layer and do the same and put it on 120 opacity, and then grab the grey you used from before. What we're going to do is we're not going to add it to the palette, but we're going to copy the hex number so we can use it for future reference. Then we go to the rectangle tool, click it, and then go to the filled rectangle tool. And what we'll do is, actually I think we'll go a bit darker because we do want it darker. And we'll just go boop, and we got a darker brick. Now from here we go back to this color, and we just copy it. Okay, so like that. We just copy it like that. And then we do the same with this. And basically what we do is we just mirror what the bricks do. So we go halfway there, take it up 3, draw it across. Now you may see this issue. There's a bit at the top that's stuck. Now I've had this issue before. What I tend to do is I tend to just ignore it and put green there, because, well, with a wall, you don't really do much with it, because it's a wall and you don't do much. So what I normally do is I put green there. So if we get gradient, boop, boop. Oh, no, wrong one. Oh, right, we've been painting on the wrong layer, because I'm a bit of a dum-dum. That might be why it's a bit light. Now we merge it down, Got this. Go do. Basically just mirror the whole thing. As I've said before. And then once you've done that, you'll have that one on the top still there. And what I normally do, as I've said already, is I put green there. It's really just a simple fix. It's not really anything that's important because it's a wall and the wall's going to go up there anyway. This is just a bit where you can walk in. So it's not really going to look any different graphically. It's going to look a little annoying on the tile itself. Now, as you can see, it kind of looks like we got a brick there. What we can do is we can grab it. The only issue with it is that when you're trying to go up, it might look a bit different. So what I normally do is sometimes I put the green on the bottom instead. Or I do this. Because I've just seen where I can go with it. You do that, because that's the bottom of the brick, isn't it? That's the bottom of the brick. And then, say we want to make the bricks go up, we can just copy this brick texture we've already got and just pop it on there like so. Although, you may want to turn it around, rotate it. Or you can just simply do that and Control CV. Oh, no. Just drag that there. Now that doesn't look like much, but it does look better. And from here, it's pretty much the same. Just grab this color, add it to the palette, grab this color, add it to the palette. Now, some might say, why didn't I use this color as the base? Because it's the same as that color. Well, it does look better. Actually, it does look a lot better, because you can kind of see it better. So what we can do is we can just delete that color. A lot of times with color palettes, it's mainly testing to see if it works. It's a lot of trial and error, like just then, and it takes a while to get what you want. And don't let that scare you off from it. I wouldn't let that go against what you want to make. What you want to do is what you want to do. Whatever you are trying to aim for, or whatever, you do that, but it will take time. It will always take time. AAA games aren't made in a day. Not saying that some aren't, because I've seen some games made in a day that are really good, but not all. Not Cyberpunk 2077 didn't take a day. It took ages of planning and preparation and getting things right, even though they haven't got it right yet. But that's my own opinion. But yeah, so what we can do from here is, as you can see, we've gotten that detailed and that detailed. We haven't really gotten this detailed. What we can do is, this is also an extra sprite we've got here. So we can add it there because it's a different kind of brick tile, because it's in a different form as this one. So it's actually a newer version. So what we can do with this, the reason I've done two is because we're going to make them look different, to add diversity to it. So what we do again is we make a new layer, edit the layer to 120, and click the grey we used before. Now I use this grey, right, okay, because I copied something else earlier, didn't I? Never mind. I use just a random grey, depending on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I go light, sometimes I go darker. That looks like it'll work. Yeah, that works. And then what we can do is, seeing as this is in the ground, sometimes I do that, so it's a darker colour, because it's touching the ground. And as you can see, it looks a little better. Now what we can do is we can go doop, perhaps one up there, perhaps something here, and perhaps one there, and perhaps we'll just have that. And really, it's just about seeing what makes it work. No, that didn't work, so I change it and go for something else. A lot of times it is just trying to get something to work. And sometimes things don't work and you just get the feeling where it's just like, oh, I'm just going to give up. Don't do that. That's a stupid thing to do. It takes time to make these things. But trust me, when the thing's done, it's really good. Now what we can do is we can merge this down and then add the colours to the palette. They're the two colours we use. And then we can get the, we can bring a new layer in, take it back to 120, just checking whether I could double click for it, and then pretty much we just go for, I think it was 9A, 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 and then pretty much, in fact, because it's the top one, we want to go with a lighter colour. So we go boop doo boop. Although actually what we want to do is we want to go with this colour, because that matches this one. And if we don't match it, then it won't be good. But because we matched the colour already that we want for highlights, we don't really need layer 2. So we can just remove. Grab this colour and get painting. Now, you don't want to put it on the base, because that's bad. That's bad. If we put that up there, it makes it look like it's crossed over, doesn't it? Which makes it look better. And then we don't want to put it on the bottom, because then it'll kind of merge. And kind of merging is bad. So what we do is we do that. We put them on the top for the top, these ones. And then we go to the bottom ones for these ones. Not all of them. Not all of them. We want to leave some out, because there are going to be some small details I will be showing you how to add later. Now we've got this kind of brick, and it looks like a brick wall. And it's pretty damn nice. And there we go, we got another set of tiles. Now this is just from the 3 colours we had at the start. We only started with 3 colours, and now we've got these. It's quite cool, isn't it? I find it rather amazing that we can go from 3 colours to 7 colours? Yeah, 7 colours. And we get this. It's really mind-boggling amazing. Now, I am going to show you how to make water next, in the next tutorial. This one was made purely for a project. The next few I'm going to do are for my YouTube channel explicitly. This one is just going on there because, yeah. But this is a project I had to do for college. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed how to make some grass, some bricks, and some brick walls. Today we have covered grass, making different grass tufts, brick paths, and brick walls. Small brick walls, big brick walls, all kinds of brick walls. We made multiple different brick walls. And we also went over how to make a colour, starting of a colour palette. You want a red colour, a green colour, and then a kind of bluey colour. Now I know my red looks like purple. Deal with it. But yes, that is my tutorial on how to make colour palettes and some tiles. By the end of this small little series, we should hopefully have at least 100 tiles. But till then, I will see you in the next one. Bye!